We are in the middle of the winter arc right now. This is a period of time where we dial into our goals and bunker in for the new year. It gives us a chance to build up consistency on the things that we said we were going to do in 2024, but maybe haven't got the chance to yet. It'll also allow us to build up a good base to start 2025 off on the right way. These are the 4 things that I've been focusing on this winter arc, and these are some things that I think can also help you. Number 1 is home. For me, this year, home has been very sporadic. I've been traveling all over the place, and so I haven't been able to build consistency and spend time in one single place I called home for an extended period of time. During this winter arc, I want to dial in and find my home. I want to spend these next few months in one place consistently where I'm not having any other distraction and I'm not moving around 24/7. I believe by doing this, it'll help me build back up my consistency that I'm aiming for going into 2025. Doing things like consistently going to the gym, consistently attending the organizations and clubs I'm a part of, being able to be there for my friends and family. These are the things you can't really do when you don't have a place you can call home for an extended period of time. This will help me dial back in and become more consistent on the goals that I had at the beginning of the year that I haven't been able to really achieve or put in the work towards because I've been moving around so much. Now, how can this apply to you? For you, you might not travel a lot. And in fact, you might not have traveled at all this year. So you might be in one place the whole time. But what you can take away from it is trying to build back up that consistency on those 1 or 2 things that I know everybody said they were going to do this year, but they haven't been able to do yet. This idea of home doesn't necessarily have to relate to how I'm taking it. It can also mean building up a routine. I look at being at home as a place where I'm locked in and I have a routine that I'm doing pretty much every single day that I know I can build consistency on because there's that environment that fosters that. Number 2 is to get rid of the things you don't really want. I remember back in college once I graduated, I had this period of time where I got rid of all my clothes. I used to be really into clothes and sneakers, and after college I just decided I don't want that. I just want like 2 pairs of jeans, the same couple shirts, and 1 pair of shoes that I can just wear every single day. What this did was allow me to have less options, but the less options were actually allowing for less distractions as well. I didn't have to put time into thinking what I'm gonna wear. Now, since then, I have obviously bought a lot more clothes and stuff, so I wouldn't say I'm back to where I used to be, but I definitely have more than just a few shirts and a few pants that I kind of did for a period of time. But what this helped me learn was to be willing to let go of things that aren't suiting you. I feel like for many of us who are on the self-improvement path, including me, it's very hard to let go of things. Like, you start doing something because you want to improve, but then you kind of start to feel like it doesn't really help you and it's not really that effective, but you don't want to let go of it because it seems like giving up. And you feel like if you stop doing this thing, you're not a great self-improvement student. But for me, during this winter arc, what I'm trying to do is get rid of more things that don't really suit my lifestyle. One example of this is I used to go to these events called meetups, and basically they'd be events where people would throw, whether it's social, based on a sport, based on an activity, whatever, they'd throw these events and anybody could show up. And I used to go to these all the time for about 2.5 years. And at first it was good because I made friends that way. For about the last 6-7 months, I've really not felt like doing this anymore. Like, just the way the events are structured were not suiting me, and I felt like I was not gaining much out of it. Like, I wasn't finding good connections or good friendships or interesting conversations. But I kept going because I felt like it's something that I already was doing for so long that it was hard for me to just give up and stop going to these events, even though after the events I never felt like I enjoyed it or like it was worth my while. Like, I'd go home and I'd be like, that was a waste of time, but then I'd keep going. But recently I've made the decision, like, this goes along with what I'm saying, get rid of the things that don't suit your life, is to just stop going. I had to realize that those events and those things, they seemed cool in theory and I was going for a long time, but they're not really benefiting me anymore like they once were. So there's no point. For you guys, it might be a plethora of different things. Maybe it's an organization you're a part of, or maybe it's like a type of thing you're doing on the self-improvement path that you're not really seeing results. Or maybe it's something like, every weekend you're going out and hanging out with your friends at the bar, but you're not really enjoying it. You know that's not really for you. But during this winter arc, I recommend taking a break from those things that you feel like you don't know. Like, I don't know if I really want to do that. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Take a break, and this will help you because you'll be able to realize if it's really for you or if it's not really for you. And if it's really for you, you'll feel that urge to want to come back to doing it. Number 3 is to be more serious. I feel like every arc of my life has a little bit of a theme, and during the winter arc, I feel like it just makes sense to have the theme of being more serious. Now, what do I mean by this? I mean, like, I just want to present myself in more of a serious manner when it comes to my life. Now, this doesn't mean I'm not gonna have fun or I'm just gonna be a stick in the mud 24/7, but I just think when I'm out meeting people or talking to the people I already know, or building relationships, business, work. I want to just present myself as a little bit more serious, having more serious conversations, having more in-depth conversations, presenting myself the way I look and dress when I'm out and about as a more serious look, the way I talk, the way I articulate myself, maybe swearing less, things like that. Just presenting myself in more of a serious manner. The reason I want to do this is because I think a lot of people see me on the funny, joking side in real life, right? I'm pretty lighthearted, I don't take things too serious, but I also want to present myself as a more well-rounded person. So I want to show people the other side of me, which is I can have a serious conversation, I have depth, I have interesting things I can talk about. It's not always just jokes, things like that. And those first impressions really make or break, I think, a lot of relationships, whether it's friendships or serious partner relationships. So I just want to come off as a more of a serious person, and I think the winter arc is the perfect time to do it. For me, like winter, it makes sense. The theme of winter is like being more locked in, being more head down, you're grinding, there's less sun, there's less fun going on. So I think the theme for me this winter arc is to be more serious. Number 4 is to do something you hate. This is something I want to take on, that I've been taking on this winter, and I want to continue on my winter arc, is to do something I hate. I feel like winter is supposed to be a challenging time. Depending on where you live, it's usually cold, it gets dark very quickly, it's gloomy, the weather is not great, the environment, you walk outside, the wind hits you, it's snowing sometimes, it gets dark by like 6 p.m. So I feel like it's a challenging time. So I think it's a perfect time to take on a challenging task, because the environment is already kind of dictating that. If you can take on something challenging and do it during the winter time, where all the elements and the environment is just working against you, by the time the season changes and it gets to spring or summer, you've already built up those skills, and it'll be much easier then because the weather is great and just the environment is much more happy and more positive and more light. And so if you can grind and do it during winter, you can do it during any time of the year. Everybody has that one thing or two things that they say they're gonna do, they wanna do, but they haven't been able to do because they know it's going to be challenging and they don't want to put in that effort. Right now during the winter arc is the perfect time to get back on those challenging tasks. For me, this year was running. I've never really been a big runner outside of running for sports. I never just did it for fun. And this has been a very big challenge because I'm not a good long distance runner. But during this winter arc, I want to continue to challenge myself and run every single week. Now, is it going to suck? Yes, because it's going to be colder outside. It's already going to be dark when I start running. In the winter, I always have like a runny nose, like 24/7. So I'm going to be having a runny nose while I run. Everything is going to be working against me. But if I can build that consistency and run every single week during winter, by the time spring and summer get around, not only will I be significantly better at running itself, it won't feel nearly as big of a challenge or a burden when I do run, because the environment is going to be so much better. So what I recommend is finding something that's challenging but that you think you want to do. Like maybe it's cold showers, maybe it's meditating, maybe it's getting back in shape, maybe it's running, whatever it is, and start it now, because if you can build that consistency now when everything is working against you, by the time things turn around in the spring or summer, you'll already have such a good base that you'll be able to take off and see the results even at a higher level. Winter can be a challenging time. The weather, your mood, limited sunlight. So it's vital that you take care of yourself this winter. Check in and spend time with your friends and family. Go out and try to get sunlight whenever you can. Go to the gym. Make sure you're doing your self-care routine and self-care activities, and check in with yourself. The winter can be a very challenging time for many of us. If you're able to lock in during the winter arc and try to become the best version of yourself, you're setting yourself up for a lot of success and a big head start once the new year comes. Let me know what you guys are doing this winter arc. What are your protocols? What are the things that you're looking forward to doing in the last 2 months of this winter arc, and things that you're looking forward to just building up that consistency for in 2025. Let me know in the comment section below. Till next time, guys, I'm out. Peace.